Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at 33's Beastmaster. This is a version of Beastmaster where he actually maxes whirling axes. Now you might be thinking, oh, Speed, I've seen this build before. You max wild axes, and then you build an axe. But that's not what this is. He maxes wild axes, and then proceeds to go with the normal Helm of the Overlord. Seemingly what 33 thinks, and what has become very popular in the Offlane Beastmaster meta, is maxing wild axes primarily just for its ability to be a fantastic laning ability. I mean, look at this. Wild axes is like an 80 damage nuke with which amps your damage, which includes your auto attacks, right? So you hit people harder, and it only costs 65 mana. That is nothing. This is one of the cheapest level 1 abilities as a nuke in all of Dota. And so I think players just came to the realization, this has been a thing in the past, trust me, this is not completely new, but really this build of maxing wild axes and yet still going for this Helm Dom seems incredibly powerful. And I actually expect Beastmaster to be one of the most contested offlaners of this current patch. Also, I want to quickly let you guys know that if you want to become even more broken, what you should do is go sign up to the gameleap website. Currently, it is 50% off. So if you want to sign up, you're going to get exclusive content that I make over there where I'm going to talk about the pro games that I play in DPC Division 1. I'm going to do analysis for those games. I'm going to talk about patch content, go over all the new builds that you can try. Also, what I'm going to do for the website is I'm going to play games and experiment with these new builds, kind of analyze those games, do live game analysis over there as well. So if you're interested in that type of thing, use code RANK50. I'll repeat that, no spaces, RANK50 for 50% off. Use that when you're checking out. 50% off right now. Click the link down below and I'll see you guys there. So first things first, your early lane is going to be pretty defensive. We're only a minute in here and he's actually pulling a lot of creep aggro, trying to static the wave more towards his tier 1 tower. By the way, you could probably expect with these wild axes, generally what you're going to do is use them to secure the range creep. Or if it's a very, very difficult lane, let's say you're laning against something like Razor and he has Link, you could actually straight up throw axes at him right away to sort of start to push the creep wave, right? For instance, even here, as the lane progresses, this Wraith King started to build up some stacks of wild axes. If you don't understand how the ability works, basically you throw axes at someone, and then for 10 seconds they're marked. And then if you throw axes at them again, literally right away, they'll get stacks of axes. And so essentially, this ability is like, it's kind of like Sticky Napalm, except it's not as broken as Sticky Napalm, but you get the point. After that, he takes Inner Beast, and basically what this build is really good at doing is honestly just trading. Because when you shove in the creep wave, which is what Wild Axes generally does, it makes it much easier to trade. Now that's not me saying that that's literally all 33 is doing. In fact, he's only casted a total of like 4 axes in 3 minutes, which is definitely not a lot, but it is something to keep in mind. Once again, if the lane is hard, or if you're against a hero that lacks sustain, and you have a very strong position 4, maybe your position 4 is something like, I don't know, Hoodwink, Jakiro, and you know you can put a lot of aggression, go for it. However, in this lane, he's against a Wraith King. That Wraith King is going to heal quite a bit, get healed by the Pugna, right? The Pugna's going to salve him a bunch, and so it was pretty hard for 33 to play that game of like harassing. So he does it a little bit, but primarily he's focused on CS. You can see he's currently 22-3. Some of them are Wraith King skeletons, so don't be too fooled this game. His CS will be a little bit inflated, but overall, easy laning stage. The biggest problem I would say with Beastmaster in the past was honestly that this hero, it had this dilemma where at level 1 with Boar, your Boar is trash, right? If I quickly show you guys the numbers, it's 10% slow, which is negligible. It's something, but it's negligible. 20 damage, which is basically 0 against melee heroes and their built-in stout shield. And then only at 300 HP. It's on a 42-second cooldown as well. So Boar at level 1 is quite underwhelming. It does spike pretty hard at level 2, which is kind of why people would sometimes argue that this like max wild axes build is kind of weird, because you might expect him to like stop taking axes at level 2 and then go back for Call of the Wild Boar at level 4 and 5. But he doesn't do that. He's actually going to max axes at 7, and we'll see that play out. On top of that, look at his items here. It's very important. The first item he buys was a Helm of Iron Will. By the way, he started the game with 3 branches, 1 set of tangos, and a Quelling Blade. Immediately rushes the Helm of the Iron Will. Part of the reason why he plays passive as well, right? He didn't really want to buy a salve or buy extra tangos. He wants to maximize his net worth. But in order to do that, you have to give up a little bit of pressure. What I mean by that is he didn't double down on buying so much regen. However, what he did do was get a really early Helm of the Iron Will, and now he can look to sort of pressure on this timing because he has 13 armor when under tower and only, 10 when he's not, which is obviously still insane. After that, though, you have to buy Bassi and Raindrops. I think the other item you can buy, if it is a good lane for it, is a stick. That's obviously great as well. You know, if you're against something like, I don't know, Lion PA, you could pick up a stick. But in this lane, obviously stick isn't so good. He's basically 1v1ing a Wraith King. And as a result, the Bassi and the Raindrops is great. It makes you very survivable and gives you all the mana you need in order to spam your abilities. Because trust me, when you go max axes, you will have mana problems. So you must, and I repeat, you must buy these items. So funny enough, he gets a 7-minute Helm Dom, which is not the funny part, but he actually jungles for a little bit. Seemingly, he thinks it's more efficient. I think he was afraid of getting ganked potentially by the Ember, but also, oh no, they knew Undying went bottom. I think that was the main thing. They had a read that Undying was bottom at the time, and so he actually just stacks the hard camp and farms it. You can see with Wild Axes, it's no problem. Your hero is a very, very good stack taker. So if you happen to be playing with a friend, you can even tell them, hey, you know, make me some stacks. Stack up that large camp. I wouldn't necessarily stack Ancients, even though you can kill them if you spend enough time. It's much better to just take the hard camp and then get back to the lane. But as we'll see, look at the net worth, guys. Higher than the Wraith King, right? He is unbelievably farmed, and you'll see he's actually going to be top net worth this game. He gets freaking massive. Also, one thing to note is that his team is getting dove here. You can see he's looking at it. He's like quickly hovering over it. But note how he doesn't TP. In the majority of games, you don't want to TP. I would say almost like, let's say 9 out of 10 times, you don't want to TP, especially if you're low mana, which you kind of should be if you're playing the hero correctly. The issue is, if you TP in, you're not going to have your Helm Dom creep, you're not going to have your boars, and you're not going to be farming. And Beastmaster is one of the fastest farming heroes in Dota. This hero, in the offlane, when it has a good lane, should be one of the top net worth, if not the top net worth hero, at around minute 10 every single game. Because what you do is exactly what he does here. You can drag the wave, you can cut the wave, and after you do that, you're just going to outfarm the safe laner. They're going to have to take the wave late, right? Because if you're cutting their wave, you're going to get to it first. So you're going to cut the wave, then kill the small camp, then kill the large camp, then cut the wave again. And as long as you rinse repeat this hero is unbelievably good at farming. For instance, take a look at this creep wave here. I'm going to play it in 1x speed just so you kind of see. The Wild Axes build actually makes you shred waves. Obviously, he's level 9 at minute 12 with a very early or good timing on the Helm Dom. But either way, he's going to shred through the tier 1. And all of a sudden, he's in a fantastic position to carry this game. And just to even emphasize this a little bit more, you'll see he's pushing in bottom here, and he even thought about TPing top. They were diving pretty hard. But he realizes, okay, they're backing off, right? I'm not going to get anything out of this. So instead, he cancels his TP and just starts to farm out the entirety of the jungle. And yeah, you just wipe through the camps. It's really important to do this on Beastmaster for 2 reasons. Number 1, you farm fast, which is what I've been emphasizing. But number 2, what I didn't make so clear, but it's also just as important, is that when you are in an area like this, you are very hard to gank, and you are very good at killing people. In low MR games, support players are just going to walk up the hill. Core players are just going to wander around. If you've played your lane as well as 33 did, you will have this much farm, and you should kill them. Because they'll be alone, and you can scout them. You can even see if there's reinforcements coming, because you have Hawk. So basically, Beastmaster is like one of the best heroes in the game, if not the best hero in the game, when it comes to playing alone and taking 30% of the map for himself. You have to do this. It is the best way to play the hero. If you have a good lane, you need to stay in your lane and control the area. For instance, he gets ganked here. He's level 10. He didn't even have to use Roar. They have to run into boars, so they're going to get boar slowed. He even pushes himself away with the Wild Ripper, whatever it's called. It's a cute little play. But it's so hard to gank this hero because the Hawks scout the rotations. If they smoke gank you, you can roar away, right? You have boars to slow. If people walk up a hill and you're on that hill, you just roar them and solo kill them. For instance here, if you want to see what I'm talking about, you should take every kill you can get, even if it's a support, right? Undying walks in here, look at the Wild Ripper, pushes him back into the roar, takes the kill. Why would you do this? You might be like, oh, that's a waste of roar. You're just trying to hit timings. You're just trying to get so freaking farmed that your Helm of the Overlord timing is so overwhelming that they can't do anything about it. And yeah, as he kills the Undying, farms the camp to the left, then back to the small camp. After the small camp, takes the large camp. After the large camp, off to the wave. And you can see he's not even necessarily putting map pressure. He's not even trying to take a tower. In fact, here, he actually goes back to take an Ancient stack. Like, he gets his Helm Dom, gets a Black Dragon, a little bit lucky, not too lucky, they had a triple stack, farms up the stacks, and look how farmed he is. Look at his net worth. Unfreaking believable. An overwhelming amount of net worth. And now that he has this item, look what he does, right? Take a peek. Take a look. All right. Gets this item, immediately looks for a kill, right? Unfortunately, got fogged there, so he wasn't able to get the kill. But he's so freaking strong. Tundra is so freaking strong that look what they're going to be able to do in a moment here. I would say Alliance made a bit of a mistake in their draft. They left a bit of a gap. They didn't pick a single major wave shove hero or tower depush hero. They picked Ember, but like kind of not enough. And so Tundra identifies this lack of wave shove or lack of tower defense. And yeah, he's just going to book it down the lane. Now keep in mind, I really want you guys to understand that once again, he can do this because of the lack of wave shove. You don't just casually push towers. You know what happens when you casually push towers against too much wave shove? You just feed 250 gold from your creep. Don't do that. But as we will see here, because of the lack of it from Alliance, he gets a nice roar into the Undying. You can tell he has no problem just taking the solo kill on the support. A lot of Beastmaster players just always hold their roar. If you can get a free kill onto the AA or the Rubik or the CM, and you're the only nearby stun, just take the kill. And as we'll see here, here comes the death ball from Tundra. And your pubs can look very, very similar. If you actually farm as efficiently and as well as he does, your pubs will look similar. You're going to show up to fights. They're not going to be able to fight this creep. How can they? It's way too early into the game, right? And they get a 17-minute racks here, basically uncontested from Tundra. So just an unbelievable performance. And most of this, to be frank, I mean, a lot of it stems from the draft from Tundra. I believe this is a pretty heavy outdraft. I think they had good side lane matchups. I think they had a good mid matchup. I think they're incredible players. And I think they also identified the weakness of Alliance's draft in the lack of wave shove that they have, and they really abused it. Immediately, that also turns into a Roche. Your hero's obviously stupid good at Roshing because you have Vlads, right? You have Vlads and you have creeps. You have attack speed bonus. And then on top of that, his next items. This is pretty simple Beastmaster at this point. He buys his shard. If you don't know what that does, it allows you to summon a hawk, and then the hawk, you can stun people with it. So if they walk into the area of the hawk, you can cast it on them. It also reduces the cooldown of the hawk, which is pretty key. And it stuns them for 2 seconds. So you just get an extra stun, and it lowers the cooldown of hawk, which is like arguably your most important mid to late game ability. So it's really, really good. So he goes for a shard into drums. I would say most games you should try to go this in pubs. I'm not a huge fan of buying Blink unless you really, really have to. This game in particular, his safe lane DK is buying a Blink, so obviously he doesn't really need to. And yeah, the game kind of just ends from there. They sort of just barrel it down. So I kind of wanted to focus on showing you guys the first 15-ish minutes. That's what really counts on this hero. If you learn how to control the hill, take 30% of the map to yourself, and get the occasional solo kill, this hero is a menace. If you can't do this, well, you know, you're going to fall off. You're going to feel like the hero sucks. And it's very snowbally. Beastmaster with a bad lane, it gets pretty ugly. Your hero can feel pretty useless. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!